What's up, man? It's your boy Richardson from Minimum Wage to Millionaire. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here, welcome back. Forgive me for the infrequent upload schedule. When you work overnight and somebody gets fired, they tend to give you overtime, which is great for the finances, but less available time and all that. So please forgive me for that. But I got a nice video for you guys to share with you guys today. And that video is that I pay $25 a month for my cell phone plan, taxes and fees, all included, unlimited data and all that. And how I pay $25 a month, what did I do, and what steps I could help you guys to help you guys pay around that, or maybe the similar amount. I'll explain all that in this video. So if you like it, like the video, share it to your friends or family that may enjoy this content and may find this useful. So before I get to why and how I pay $25 a month for my cell phone service, I want to kind of break a few things down for people that may not know. So in the United States, because I live in the United States, there are three major network carriers known as MNOs, mobile network operators. I'm sure you guys know the names: At&t, Verizon, and T-Mobile. These are the major carriers. So they own their own network, they operate it, they're the ones that climb the towers, or their engineers climb the towers and get all the cell performance all well and dandy, right? So for most people, when they hear about that, they're like, okay, well, those are my only three options. But you'll notice that when you go on their website, typically you see the price of their plans, unless you're adding like 5 or 6 lines, which with multi-line discount drops the cost of the total of all the lines. When you're just going there for 1 or 2 lines, you're looking at like $100 per line or $90 per line, something to that effect. And the reason why it's that expensive is because, again, they own and operate the network. So they have to factor in the cost of keeping the network great, adding capacity, adding 5G and all that fancy gear and technology into their network, so that you, the subscriber or the person that's using these services, can be able to benefit and offload it. Like, when part of the reason why when you go on TikTok or YouTube or whatever and you're watching that content on the go despite not connecting to the Wi-Fi, it's because of those things. But you'll notice that those prices are very expensive, and they know that their price is expensive. So what oftentimes they do, they usually go either 2 routes. The first route is known as like a flanker brand or a subsidiary of the major carriers. So you might heard of these companies like Metro PCS, Cricket Wireless, Total Wireless, Mint Mobile, Visible. These are in part owned by the major carriers, right? So Mint Mobile and Metro is owned by T-Mobile, so it uses T-Mobile's network, towers, all that. Cricket Wireless is owned by At&t, so again, uses At&t's network as a background. And Total Wireless and Visible are owned by Verizon. Again, same thing, they use the network, right? The reason why they do this is that they already know that most people are not going to be able to pay, or not just that able to pay, but are willing to pay that high price. So what they do is that they kind of push it off to their subsidiaries and be like, hey, you guys go capture the budget content consumer. And that's why when you go to Metro and you see their unlimited plan versus T-Mobile's unlimited plan, why Metro is significantly cheaper, right? They're using the same network, they're using the same towers, same 5G coverages. Maybe there's a little features here and there that you may be missing, but for most part, you're getting the same experience if you were a T-Mobile customer for a cheaper price, because again, they're using that to capture that market. And then the second option is MVNOs, right? So like I said, MNOs are carriers that own and operate. MVNOs are independent companies, so they're not owned by the MNOs, and they're there to essentially buy access to their to the network. So let's say an independent company says, hey, I want to be able to offer self-service. So what they'll do is they'll go to Verizon and work out a deal and say, hey, can we use your towers for service and coverage and all that stuff? So they'll use it, they'll put it under another basket so it won't be named Verizon, because usually part of the deals is that Verizon says, hey, you can't use our brand name. You got to make your own brand name so that, the customers don't confuse the brands, right? So you come there, you buy access to the Verizon network, and then what you do is, let's say you buy it, and let's say every, line of access, let's say it costs you $10, you'll turn around, put your own label on it, call it white labeling, right? You put your own label on it, and then you sell that access to someone else for $20, right? That way you make your profit, you sell the service, and then you could market that, hey, it's you using Verizon's network, right? So that you have that confidence. So you have those type of brands out there, and I'll bring up a couple of names that I would recommend or that I would consider you guys looking into. So that's just kind of the breakdown. Hopefully I didn't get you guys lost, but that's pretty much what it is. So you have the MNOs, the people that own and operate that works. Then you have the subsidiaries or the flanker brands. These are people that lease access to the network. And then you have what's known as MNOs, where these are independent companies that come and buy access to the plans. Now, there are some differences between these brands, like I mentioned, but in terms of the value that you may get out of these things. So when you go to an MNO, when you go to a T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, yes, you're paying significantly more for services. That's just off the rip. But typically, you will get pretty much the best phone deals on those services. And if you don't believe me, again, use T-Mobile and Metro as example. Go to Metro and see the type of phone deals that they offer versus when you go T-Mobile and the type of phone deals they offer. You'll see very clearly that T-Mobile will offer significantly more phone deals and deals and like such as a free iPhone 17 Pro. You're not going to really find that at Metro, right? They just can't afford to do that, right? Because they're already giving you savings on the plan. They can't dip and dabble. Whereas T-Mobile, they're like, all right, we'll charge you $90 for service, $100 for service, but you know what? Because you're willing to pay that, we'll front you with a free iPhone, right? And usually the terms will be like, you guys lock in with us for 3 years or 2 years. And over the course of those 3 years, assuming you stay with us and you keep your account current, you'll have that free iPhone. But you have to be locked into 3 years. So some people are okay with doing that. Maybe for a lot of people, it may make sense because these phone devices are like $1,000, $1,200. But clearly, because I'm paying only $25 a month, I'm sure you guys could come put two and two together and see that I don't do this. So what I typically do, and I'll name exactly what carrier I go and some of the resources you guys can use to help find what best carrier is good for you in your area. So just stay a little tuned for that. But what I typically go is I go the path of buying refurbished, unlocked flagship phones. So the phone that I'm currently recurring, which is my main phone, I only have one phone, although maybe in the future as YouTube scales up, I might buy a second phone for content creation and stuff like that. But the phone I'm using is a refurbished Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus, right? So you'll notice that the S26s just came out, I think, as of this week or last week, right? And I got a 24 Plus. So I'm only 2 years behind the current model. And I bought this phone, I think, February of last year. You may not want to guess, or I'll tell you guys how much I paid for this. I paid for Amazon refurbished for about $250. I don't think it's still at that price now, but I got it at a really, really great deal. Again, it's refurbished, so it's not brand new out of the box, but battery health is good. No scratches, no scuffles. Well, it may have some scratches now because of me, but not when I bought it and everything like that. And the most important thing, and the most important aspect in all this, is that it is unlocked, meaning that unlike when you go again to T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, where you're kind of locked to these carriers, especially if you do those phone promotions and contracts with the MVNO brands, you know, if you go unlocked and you're not tied to anything, then this is where the unlocked savings, because I could essentially take my number, take my phone, and go to any of these brands, again, either the subsidiaries or the MVNOs, to be able to get cheaper service and still access these great networks. So that's what I do. That's what I would advise a lot of people to do if it's in your ability or if you can. Some of the websites that I'll name, and I'll put a link in the description below. Some of the websites could be Swappa. You could go Amazon and then look at the refurbished unlocked phone section of Amazon. Because Amazon, if you just type in the phone, they'll show you the new listings, which you're paying full retail. So just make sure you put those filters on to be able to get it. Back Market is a good one. And also eBay and OfferUp. I'll put those links in the description. I'm not sponsor affiliated by any of these companies that I mentioned. These are just general resources and things that you guys can use to be able to afford and get cheap phones and cheap services. So without delaying it, how am I able to pay $25 a month? Again, I'm currently with Total Wireless, which, as I mentioned earlier, it's part of the Verizon brand. It's actually owned by Verizon, so Verizon is the parent company and Total Wireless is the subsidiary, right? The younger company. And the reason why I like this is that I get that little extra security knowing that, hey, it's owned by Verizon. Part of the things when you go with the MVNOs, Obviously, I'm not talking down on the MVNOs, and some of them offer great customer service, and I'll give you guys one towards the end of the video that I would recommend looking at that is an independent company. But typically, some of the independent MVNOs, you don't really know their situation, and a lot of times they typically could, you know, do not, I won't say bait and switch, but they'll typically do like little switcheroos and stuff like that, because of course they're independent companies. They have to buy the access. They, you know, most of these private owned companies are like VC funded, right? Venture capital. So, you know, they obviously have to just make things work for what it is, versus a Total Wireless that's owned by Verizon, so it's relying on that financial backing of Verizon. And I'm on their bring your own device, $25 a month, unlimited plan. So I get unlimited talk, text, 5G. I think it comes with Disney Plus for 6 months, international calling, texting, all that. Again, I'll put all the links in the description below. And I'm able to get that for $25 a month, taxes and fees included. And I'm saving significantly more money than if I were to go Verizon. Let's say Verizon's highest tier plan, I think it's like $90 a month for a single line, because I only pay for myself. I mean, I'm saving nearly 4 times the cost of doing that, and I'm still getting the service, it's still working, still be able to do it. And again, because it's owned by Verizon, I have that extra security with that, right? At least for people that want a trusted, reliable brand. Now, is it as trusted as going directly to Verizon, like on the postpaid? Probably not, but again, you're going to have to pay almost 4 times the price. So you guys see if it's worth it for you. So that's what I pay for. Verizon is very good in my area, good coverage, good everything like that. And yeah, and sometimes when I talk to people and compare phone plans, and they're telling me they're paying, you know, one of my coworkers, he's on T-Mobile, and I think he's paying like $90 for two lines, which may not seem too bad, but again, when I talk to him, be like, oh, I could go to Metro and get their bring your own device, $25 a month, and our service will be pretty much similar. Again, apart from like phone promotions and stuff like that, that's where T-Mobile does get an edge over prepaid and stuff. So that's it, man. That's how I do it. That's the secret. Not really a secret. I'm a very frugal and minimalist person. So if I could get $25 for cell service, I can. But let me show you guys how you guys can either. Again, first thing I'm going to recommend is coveragemaps.com. Again, I'm not sponsored, affiliated, associated by anyone who runs the website or anything like that, but it's a good resource. So you go on that website, coveragemaps.com. I'll put the link in the description below. And what you can do is that you can type in your zip code or your county, and they will show you which of the 3 carriers offers the best service or best coverage in your area. So that way you know exactly which one you should go to, whether it's with the T-Mobile, At&t, Verizon. But because again, we're trying to find service for cheap, what you then could do is once you find out which one offers better reliability, coverage, 5G, all that, then you could go to this other website, again, not sponsored, affiliated by them, but it's called bestphoneplans.com. I'll put a link in the description below of that website. And then what you can do is with that information that you have, like let's say Verizon is the best in your area, you could then go at Verizon. Again, it'll have some filters. How much do you want to pay for your service, blah, blah. And then it could curate options of best phone plans for your significant needs. For example, if you don't need unlimited data, you only need 10 gigs of data because you're primarily on Wi-Fi, then you should go with that. If you're someone that only needs that needs international features, then you filter it by that. If you're someone that needs a lot of hotspot because you like to travel on the go and like to be able to connect your laptop or your tablet to your phone and then be able to continue to work despite not connecting to Wi-Fi, those are things that you could filter out. You could see the best plan for it. And then, of course, I would always advise, don't ever rely on just third-party websites. Go, before you actually sign up, go directly to that website and see what type of promotions and deals. Because again, with Total Wireless, I think at the time of me making this video, they have a deal when you could bring your phone number over. If you have an unlocked phone, bring your number there and you could get unlimited Verizon talk, text, data from Total Wireless, which is their, again, their smaller brand, for $25 a month. So make sure when you use these resources, don't just blindly follow them. Use them as a reference point, then go directly to the website and see what best plans and promos that you could get so that you could get the best service at the best reasonable price. And that's just simply how I pay $25 a month for service. So I'll put all the links to the resources that I mentioned in the description below so you guys could check it out. Thank you guys for watching my video. It's your boy Richardson from Minimum Wage to Millionaire signing out. You guys have a nice day. May the Lord be with you all today. Thank you.